Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and go. Like I said, my name is Dwayne Walton. I wear many hats in this group: MC, intrepid videographer,
B-Man.
B-Man, yes, B-Man. I contributed 3 pieces in this anthology. This one is not in here, so you're getting an exclusive tonight. I pretty much write whatever's inside my head. I've been working off and on a mystery thriller for even before the group started, and this group has just been a tremendous blessing. It's a tremendous blessing for anybody that comes and shares. And I've written several pieces. One of the recent pieces that I've been reading on is I'll go into thrift shops or gift shops, and I'll find little stickers with little sayings on them. And this is one of them. I call them my sticker prompts. It was a store in the Louis Joliet Mall, and the sticker says, "But did you die?" Apparently that's a phrase that's been going around fairly recently, so I decided to get it and do something with it. And it says it's good stuff, so you know this is going to be good. Nietzsche wrote, "What does not kill me makes me stronger." I should be Superman by now. All the stupid things I did in my youth, streaking in the snow, flooding the kitchen so I could go swimming, blame Ernie and Bert. Tossing a lighted match in the trash can, that was on me. I look back on those things and laugh. But did I die? Bosses chewing me out, I don't laugh about. I remember that more than whatever screw-up I've done. No need to keep yelling, echoing and reverberating in my brain every day, mutating into other voices yelling about things I never did. You can stop now. It's over with. Done. I've moved on. The echoes in my head haven't, and they are echoes, not audio hallucinations. But did I die? My last job did things to me. As soon as I stepped out onto the floor, a weight covered in a veil, enveloped in a cloud, dropped onto me. The pay good, the people nice, if sketchy. My weekends free and my vacation hours usually decent. Yet it still gnawed at me inside. My termination after over 10 years was actually a blessing. But did I die? I knew God would see me through the unemployment and lead me to a new job. He always sees me through everything. Yet anxiety burns within, niggling, making me wonder if this would be the time he'd let me fall. He didn't. But did I die? Never thought I'd ever work at a nuclear power plant again. Yet I was at LaSalle working the outage, navigating the liminal labyrinth 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, staring out at the wind turbines in the distance, a surreal experience that went well and paid well. But did I die? Never thought I'd be back at Unitech either. Most of the old crew were gone, and I didn't have much contact with the few that remained. It served its purpose until I heard from Braidwood. But did I die? Braidwood is much better. The pay is the best I've ever had. The people are helpful and appreciative. The outage is coming. 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for 16 days. 2 weeks and 2 days. Maybe less if we're ahead of schedule. But will I die? No. But it amazes me what I lived through. Okay. Eve, you got something? Yay. You bring the laptop.
Spider.
Yes, this is Steve Saporta. He's the one who has donated our recent anthology tonight.
I apologize for being late tonight. It seems to be a characteristic of me. I'm always running late. I want to thank everybody for being here. I hope you enjoyed the presentation so far. I joined this group a number of years ago, and I found the people here to be very talented, very inspirational, very courageous. You know, writing's a very personal thing, and many times it's autobiographical. And people will write a piece and they'll come to the group and they'll read it aloud and open themselves to critique. And I, for one, being a lawyer, have a pretty thin skin, believe it or not. Think I'm a better writer than I actually am. And I don't take critique very well. But this group I've learned a lot from. And always very, very welcoming and very, get a lot of constructive criticism. The group wouldn't be anything without Denise, who was one of the founders, and always has something constructive to say, and a word of encouragement at every meeting. The group wouldn't be what it is without Colleen. And Colleen edits every piece that goes into these anthologies painstakingly. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. And at every meeting, she'll go through and provide constructive criticism that always makes my writing better, even though I don't want to hear her critiques at the time. And I haven't been the friendliest toward her. I probably owe her a public apology, but that's a result of my own ego. But I always come out of those meetings, but she improves my writing. And really, it hurts me to see her struggle and be unable to read her own piece tonight. I don't know what to say about that, but it reminded me of a piece that I wrote some years ago that I'll share an excerpt from. It's not anything I prepared for this group. It's part of a collection that I was happy to publish some years ago. Anyway, there's a short piece I'd like to read first that I think is in one of our earlier anthologies. It's not in this one, but it's called The Spirit of Giving at Christmas. Dad, is there really a Santa Claus? My younger brother had the courage to ask a question I never did. I had my doubts myself. Our Father, who loved and respected us, did not lie. Yes, there is a Santa Claus. Santa Claus is the spirit of giving. Even with our tender years, we understood. Our Father, as always, spoke direct, respectful, and honest to us. Every day is Christmas, every day. I do everything I can for you kids to make sure you are well taken care of. Christmas is every day in our family. Santa Claus is the spirit of giving, and it is in that spirit I work every day to take care of Mom and you kids. I hope that answers your question. We all smiled at our Father, tell us every day was Christmas. because we knew how much pride he took in the work he did and the money he made. The question gave him a chance to remind us of his role as, quote, the great provider. But we allowed this small boast because we knew he spoke the truth. My brothers and I knew without question he loved each of us, he adored our mother, and took great pride in providing for his family. We all felt safe and knew both he and our mother would fiercely protect us, no matter what. I cared for my father during the last 18 months of his life. I saw his virtues as well as his flaws. I loved him unconditionally, as I know he did me. Looking back on my life, I can honestly say I never knew a more generous man. I miss my father terribly. And if I could take an excerpt of this other piece briefly, and if you'll indulge me. Yeah, if Dwayne could read something that's not part of our analogy, I could do the same thing, right? What did you call it, an extra bonus?
An exclusive.
An exclusive. Okay. Something I haven't done in a while is something I really enjoy, and that's playing pool. And I used to play in an amateur league. And if you're familiar with this area, in particular Joliet, it's very popular. Some of the best amateur players in the country are from this very area. And through that, I was able to meet a gentleman named Tom Rossman, who's a professional player. And Denise met him. He put out a second instructional manual that I edited and contributed to. Denise was very generous. I had just moved to this area. I was reestablishing my law practice in Joliet, having moved from Chicago. And I think I'm making it through this group, right?
Mm-hmm. Mike Markley brought you.
Mike Markley brought me. And so a lot of the writing, part of the writing I did was for this instructional manual at the time, or about the time, and I mentioned it to Denise. And it had some Christian overtones to it, and Denise gravitated to this new book that was being put out, and she promoted it through the Herald News. And I found myself on the front page of the Herald News, which wasn't even my book, but it was tremendously generous of her, although she won't tell you she had anything to do with it. It was a decision made by someone else. But she got me on the front page of the Herald News as a new lawyer in town, and it meant a lot. I was in a nice suit, and I was at a pool table. Anyway, I met this professional player who was a trick shot artist, and got to know him over time. And I developed a bit of a correspondence with him. It was like therapy for me. I told her I've got a thin skin, I've got a big ego. If I would lose a pool match, he didn't want to talk to me that night. And so part of my working through it, I would write what happened that night, and I'd send him an email. And I'd be crying to this guy. I'm a grown man at this point, and I'm complaining how I lost, Why am I playing? What am I doing? In his own way, he got fed up with the constant emails I was sending him. Until one point he says to me, to win is great, to play is greater, but to love is the greatest. And he says to me, could you play if you knew you were never going to win another game? If you never won again? Wow. I spent the next 4 hours writing an essay. I'm not going to read you the whole thing. Woke up the next morning. It really set me to thinking. And I'm just going to share a piece of it. If you want the published work, it is available. I can send it to you. It's not for sale. It's a really nice, it's a 70-page manual, and it's got life lessons in it. I like it. I contributed to it, so of course it's good, right? All right. So part of my answer to him, to win is great, quote unquote, applies to life in general and to my avocation in particular. The problem is, in my profession as a civil litigation attorney, should a case not be settled prior to judgment, by definition, one side will win and one side will lose. If I'm retained to work on an hourly basis, then I will get paid to fight in court, win or lose. If I take a case on a contingent fee basis, I will not get paid unless I win. Sometimes the two forms of compensation can be combined, where I'm paid an hourly fee coupled with a bonus if I win. To play is greater, quote unquote, to me means I should be thankful if I still have my mental and physical faculties that enable me to continue in my chosen profession. These gifts come from God, and in all things, I need to honor Him. The minute I forget this, or am distracted by the enemy, or otherwise fail to conduct myself in a proper manner, these gifts with which I have been blessed will erode. It is a very real and a very sobering concept. The word play in this context, as well as in any other, must embody the concept of playing with integrity. Otherwise, the entire construct falls apart. Quote, to love is the greatest, end quote. In my profession, one must love all facets which maintain our civil society. Shakespeare in Henry VI had one of his characters utter the famous line, the first thing we do is we kill all the lawyers. It's a humorous line, as it expresses the public's general frustration with lawyers. However, the character, Henry the Butcher, was conspiring to overthrow the king. He knew inherently that if you first kill all the lawyers, then the civil society would break down. Loving the rule of law is just one aspect. The law needs to be tempered by equity, or what is fair. There have to be checks and balances in place. Justice must be tempered by a sense of grace as well. If, God forbid, someday I should lack the mental acuity or the physical ability to practice law, my prayer is I never lose my sense of what is fundamentally right and wrong. So, the lesson, obviously, comes from 1 Corinthians 13:13, but the greatest of these is love. So, that was the lesson I learned some years ago, and it's nice to remind myself of it from time to time. And I'm happy to share it with you tonight. Thank you.